Listen to The Curious Case of Benjamin Button by Francis Scott Fitzgerald. Level B2, Oxford Reading University.
Part 2. You will find Part 1 in the description and on our channel.
He did not make the mistake of announcing that he was over 50, nor did he mention the fact that his son had graduated from the same institution 10 years before. He was admitted and almost immediately gained a high position in the class party because he seemed a little older than the other freshmen whose age averaged to 18. But his success was really due to the fact that he was a brilliant football player. He was the most celebrated man in college because of that. In the third junior year, however, his results became a lot worse. He lost weight and was not as tall as before. In his senior year, Benjamin did not make the team at all. Moreover, his studies seemed harder to him. He felt that they were too advanced. It occurred to him that after graduating, he could go to a preparatory school, a place where boys went before entering a university. There, he thought, the sheltered life among young men his age would be a lot more secure. He graduated and returned to Baltimore. Hildegard now lived in Italy, so he went to live with his son, Roscoe. Roscoe, however, was not glad to see his father. He even had a tendency to perceive Benjamin as a problem in the house. At the time, Roscoe and his wife had built up a reputation in Baltimore, and a scandal would be most unwelcome. No longer welcome among college boys and young girls, Benjamin found himself almost alone, with the exception of 3 or 4 15-year-old boys who kept him company. He often dreamed of going to prep school. "Say," he said to Roscoe one day, "I have told you over and over that I want to go to prep school." "Well, go then," replied Roscoe shortly. The matter was unpleasant to him, and he wished to avoid a discussion. "I can't go alone," said Benjamin helplessly. "You will have to aid me." "I haven't got time," declared Roscoe sharply. "As a matter of fact," he added, "you'd better not go on with this business much longer. You'd better—" He paused and his face turned red. "You'd better return to normal. This has gone too far to be a joke. It isn't funny any longer." Benjamin looked at him, ready to cry at any moment. "And one more thing," Roscoe added. "When visitors are in the house, I want you to call me Uncle, not Roscoe. Do you understand? It looks ridiculous for a boy of 15 to call me by my first name. Perhaps you'd better call me Uncle all the time so you get used to it." After the conversation, Benjamin wandered upstairs depressed and looked at himself in the mirror. He had no facial hair anymore in spite of not shaving for 3 months. Roscoe once proposed that he should wear glasses and a fake beard, but the beard was itchy and made him feel ashamed. Benjamin opened a book of boys' stories and tried to read it, but found himself thinking permanently about the war. America participated in the First World War, and he wished he could go back to the army. But the minimum age was 16, and he did not look old enough. Suddenly, there was a knock on his door, and the servant handed him an official letter addressed to Mr. Benjamin Button. Benjamin tore it open eagerly. It informed him that many reserve officers were being called back into service with a higher rank, and he was one of them. That meant he could return to the army as a general now. This was what he had wanted. He grabbed his cap, and 10 minutes later, he entered a large tailoring shop. In his uncertain, high-pitched voice, he asked to be measured for a uniform. "Want to play soldier, son?" asked the clerk casually. "Never mind what I want," said Benjamin angrily. "My name is Button, and I live on Mount Vernon Place, so you know I am good for the army." "Well," admitted the clerk after hesitating for some time, "if you are not, I guess your daddy is, all right." In a week, Benjamin's uniform was ready. As he had been promoted to general, he needed a proper insignia, which he struggled to get because of how young he looked.
English audiobooks, courses with your favorite movie heroes, awesome word games, and much more. The whole English classroom for your level, in one place, in the EVA app. There are thousands of English books you can read and listen to. Grammar and vocabulary lessons with popular movie characters. Stop wasting your time. Go to appeva.com right now.
In the end, he did, and without telling Roscoe, he left one night and proceeded by train to the camp, where he had to command a brigade. He arrived at the camp by taxi, paid off the driver, and addressed the soldier on guard. "Get someone to handle my luggage." The soldier was taken aback. "Hey son, where did you get the general's clothes?" he asked. This made Benjamin incredibly angry. "Come to attention!" he screamed in his breaking childish voice. Suddenly, a colonel approached them on horseback. "Colonel!" Benjamin shouted. The man looked down at him and asked kindly, "Whose little boy are you?" "I will show you whose little boy I am. Get down off that horse." The colonel roared with laughter. "You want him, eh?" "Here, look at this," cried Benjamin, having lost all his patience. He shoved his commission to the colonel. "I got it from the government, as you will soon find out." Colonel looked surprised and confused. "You will go with me to the headquarters, and we will discuss it. Come along," he said. 2 days later, Roscoe came from Baltimore, hot and angry from the hurried trip, and took the crying general without the uniform back to his home. When Roscoe's first child was born, Benjamin looked like he was about 10. During the celebrations of the birth of Roscoe's son, no one mentioned that the untidy 10-year-old boy who played around the house with toy soldiers and a tiny circus was the baby's grandfather. No one disliked the little boy with a fresh and cheerful face that was only sometimes crossed with sadness. His presence, nevertheless, was a torture for Roscoe Button. He blamed Benjamin for what had happened, thinking it was absolutely illogical to behave like that. When Roscoe's little boy was 5, he was sent to kindergarten along with Benjamin. Benjamin found that playing with colored pieces of paper, making squares, chains, and other curious and beautiful designs was the most fascinating game in the world. Sometimes he behaved badly, stood in the corner and cried, but mostly those were fun hours in a cheerful room. Roscoe's son went to the first grade, but Benjamin stayed in kindergarten for a year, then for another one. That third time, he was too small to understand what that shiny bright paper was for. He cried because he was afraid of the bigger boys and did not understand what the teacher was telling him, however hard he tried. He was taken from the kindergarten, and his nurse, Nana, became the center of his tiny world. On bright days, they would go for a walk. She would show him a big gray monster and say elephant, and Benjamin would say it after her. Before going to bed that night, he would say it over and over to her. "Elephant, elephant, elephant." He loved to take a big stick and go around hitting chairs and tables with it and saying, "Fight, fight, fight." Old ladies would cluck at him, which interested him, and the young ladies would try to kiss him, which he submitted to with mild boredom. And when the long day was done, at 5 o'clock, he would go upstairs with Nana and eat oatmeal and nice soft foods with a spoon. There was no troubling memories in his childish sleep, not of his brave days at college, not of the years when he made the hearts of many girls beat faster. There were only the white, safe walls of his crib, and Nana and a man who came to see him sometimes, and a great big orange ball that Nana pointed at just before his bed hour and called Son. He did not remember clearly whether the milk was warm or cool at his last feeding, or how the days passed. There was only his crib and Nana's familiar presence, and then he remembered nothing. When he was hungry, he cried. That was all. Through the days and nights, he breathed, and over him there were sounds and voices that he barely heard, and distant smells, and light and darkness. Then it was all dark, and his white crib and the unclear faces that moved above him, and the warm sweet milk vanished altogether from his mind.
Don't forget to hit the bell to get a notification about our next video. And now, listen to another audiobook.